Well, let's get this party started. And where the party at? Where is the party?
Right here.
Right here.
The party's
It's
right here, and we ain't
It's
going
right
nowhere.
here.
The party is right here. We ain't going nowhere. We right here. So let's get this first topic out in the open. I need to get Isaiah's take on this. Bill Belichick, Super Bowl champion in the NFL, legendary coach. I mean, he's been there, done that, done it all. But he's been getting a lot of press, and mostly negative press, about his current girlfriend, which allegedly he's 73 years old and she's 24 years old. He accepted the job as head coach at North Carolina, the Tar Heels. He's going to be coaching that team. He's in a very tough conference. The ACC conference, although it's considered a basketball conference, is still not an easy football conference. He's going to be up against it. But there has been rumors swirling out of the program that his girlfriend allegedly has been more involved with things than, a lot of people might not think she should be involved in. So Isaiah, tell us a little bit about that. What do you think about the age difference? What do you think about his ability to be able to get that team prepared for next season? Because I think they're going to have a hard time. I think they're going to be up against it. They're not going to be able to run the table. I don't see him running the table anytime soon.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think he was lobbying to get the young Manning out of Texas to come over and play for him, but he, opted to stay over in Texas. But, getting back to his girlfriend, I think is a tremendous distraction for the program. You got a guy who comes in there who's been coaching for, 50 years or more, because he's 73. He's been coaching for over 50 years. And
True.
For him to come over to that program, it's going to be a huge change anyway, because he's coming down to the collegiate level of football, and he's been in pro football forever and forever. And now he's got this little young thing tagged into him, and he's giving her the kind of power that he's given. It's a huge distraction, man. And, a lot of these folks, especially the alumni who come to the game, who's been there for probably 50 years too, and then he come over there with her great granddaddy attached to her side. I mean, they not gonna like that, man. Those whole older fans, they not gonna like that. So it's not a good look for him.
Older fans don't like that.
Yeah, they don't.
I'm talking about them young athletes. They probably be like,
but
with the grandpa doing his thing.
But then even think about the girls, because think about something, Najee. The students at that school is her age. You're talking about from 18 to 24 to 25-year-old student. They're
That
her
is
age.
exactly right.
And then
That's
you let
true.
a student go home to see their grandparents, and they, hey, mom, how you doing? And then, oh, great granddaddy, how are you? And that's Belichick, the great granddaddy. He taking off his shirt, and then he's trying to flex his muscles, but he has a tremendous amount of wrinkles. You don't have a sign of black hair anywhere showing his age. And he's marching around with a 24-year-old girl. I mean, he might think that's cool with the men, chest bumping his buddies and saying, oh man, I got me a 24-year-old. But at the same time, what do you think about her friends? Her friends say, oh girl, you got your granddaddy gonna be together with? That's disgusting. Ugh. Like you just drank some turpentine or something like that.
But I guarantee her closest friend girls loving it, because they got unlimited allowance. So I guarantee
And they have unlimited access to that, some of the inner workings
stuff they
of that
they
program
can
as
even
well.
dream of.
Well,
Stuff they
true.
can't even dream of
That's the
that they're
beautiful
gonna
part
be able to
about
feed off of just because they're a friend.
Well,
They ain't got to
beautiful
sleep with
part
him. They
about
got to do nothing with him. They just got to hang on with her, and they can do whatever they want.
they got an unlimited amount of cash flow coming over there. So, because the thing is, one thing I'm gonna tell you about the new University of North Carolina, they gave them everything, bro. They gave them everything.
And then
Home
some.
car,
They gave him everything and then
The
some.
power, he's got
Right.
it all. So that 24-year-old want to have her friends over there. They're gonna be having pool parties and all that stuff. And Belichick gonna be in there with his leg, up in the air and decline, because he's gonna be trying to keep his blood flow going down his leg. So it's just a huge distraction. That's what it's gonna be. He gonna be the
So let me ask you this:
Right.
what's the difference between the current legal wranglings that Shannon Sharp has with the age of the girl that he started dating in Bill Belichick? Is there any difference in
In
in terms
30
of
versus 50.
the Belichick case is worse. And, it's a double standard, but Belichick is worse. At least you're talking about a granddaddy and a daddy. See, Shay is gonna be her daddy, but with Belichick is the granddaddy. So you talking about a couple generations in between the two, because when Shay was winning championships, that little girl was just being born, But when Belichick was coaching and being on the height of his career, this girl's parents probably wasn't even dating. They were kids. They were little kids. And so that's the big difference. And it's just crazy the way they try to separate the two. It's worse with Belichick, because Belichick is the head of a program, the head of a program, an elite program, because North Carolina, they're not that known for football, but they surely known for basketball. And that program,
basketball
school,
it's definitely a basketball school for sure, and it's always been that way ever since I've known.
I mean, they had some good seasons playing football, and they had some good athletes come out and play in professional for the NFL.
Lawrence Taylor being one of them.
He's one of them.
LT.
Yeah, and there's a host of more playing for North Carolina. But listen, it just don't look good right now. I mean, it might blow over in due time, or she might do him like Shay later on. Say he was doing this and he was doing that and he was doing this and trying to get him for a $50 million bag.
That's too late. That's too late. They're going to the events and all that stuff. And he been claiming her. There's no way she can bring up sexual assault.
It's never too late. Ask Big Harvey Weinstein. It's never too late.
Yeah, Big Harv learned the hard way, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was broadcasting her too?
Yep. Bill Cosby the same way. He was broadcasting them, girl. That was just crazy. Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on North Carolina, because I really want to see what he has to put on the field when it comes football season in September. That's really all that's going to matter. He's going to be measured on what he can perform with on the field versus his personal life with this girlfriend of his. But that's also going to be there hanging over his head, possibly as a cloud, especially if they don't get off the ground successful and start winning. Because winning will cure a lot of that. Winning will make it go away.
It will. No doubt about it. If he's winning, nobody won't say anything. But if he's losing, they're gonna blame him.
That's a big distraction.
Oh, he gonna catch some flack if he's losing, because
And despite it being his
that's
first
how
year,
everything works.
despite it being his first year, if he's not winning, they're gonna attach it to him. They really will.
Mm-hmm. He's not focused on football.
Yeah.
He's focused on dating his grandchildren.
Oh.
And the thing about it is, North Carolina is playing teams like Clemson and Miami, Florida State.
Yeah.
And one thing I could say about Mac Brown was able to parlay a bunch of success in his first few years when he got to North Carolina. Because this was his second tenure at North Carolina, I believe, that Mac Brown, because he actually coached North Carolina back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he came back, and he was able, once Texas let him go, he was able to he went into the booth, and then he came back out of the booth because he wanted to be a part of, get some of that big money.
Yeah, they were throwing bags
get
out.
some of that bag, and exactly. So he was able to put together some really solid teams at first, and then over the years, I think NIL, when they started introducing that, along with these players transferring all over the place, he just wasn't able to get the kind of talent up in there that they could be effective enough to win big games, especially against, as I said before, the Miamis and the Florida States and teams like that. Every coach is measured on his next game, which is either a win or a loss. So he's technically measured every game throughout the season. What have you done for me lately? They don't want to hear about you won a championship a year ago. They want to hear about what you winning this year. They don't want to hear about a year ago. Because I've seen coaches get 06 and technically clipped after they won a championship.
You know,
A championship really don't mean nothing.
You know, our boy Ogeron, you know, for LSU is a prime example of what
He's
you're
a
talking
perfect
about.
example.
Yep.
He's a perfect example. Ed
That
Ogeron.
guy was on the highest of heights.
Coach
man.
O.
He had a
Coach
The
O.
Warriors just beat the Rockets.
Yeah, he had a slogan that he had going on at the time, DC, when he was like, "Let's go Tiger," with that scratchy voice, and everybody started saying that, and yep, next thing you know, he didn't have a job, man. And the same thing with Les Miles. Remember Les Miles? Same thing with him. Les Miles, same thing.
Absolutely. And we can go on and on about other coaches that went through it.